All right, you guys, so this is for my divine feminines on a twin flame journey. I have a little chat about twin flames, divine feminines, in separation, and soulmates. It is something that is popping up a lot in our readings for divine collectives. It's something that I've also touched on in my divine feminine masterclass that you can find on YouTube. There's a specific episode about divine feminine and dating. And because we're in such an intense period of time for twin flames, I've done a separate video about this, 2026, 2027 being a year of unions and very pivotal moment for us twins, and in a sense of a decision. How do you want to play this out in this lifetime? You can go ahead and watch that. It's pinned to my profile. It's popping up a lot, and it's a discussion that I notice happening online as well. Divine feminines asking those of us who are meant to work with twins, who are activated divine feminines, and our life's mission is linked to twin flames, raising that question. As I'm here in separation, desiring love and wanting love, can I connect to a soulmate as I wait for my divine counterpart? And I want to break this topic down a little bit. I have limited amount of time, so maybe I will try to be quick. Today, I always struggle with being quick. But I want to give you a couple of things so you can figure this out on your own, if that's something that you're asking yourself, because this will be a very individual thing that you have to reach into that inner oracle to know your own answer. But how many feminists ask that question the way I rephrased it just a moment ago, as I wait? That is already where there's a problem, right? So it sort of suggests that you want to fill a gap as you wait for the main course with an appetizer kind of a situation. So let's take a step back, and I want to share with you a couple of things that I feel are very important. And as you sit down with yourself and consider, do I really want to connect with a soulmate? So first thing is that we need to understand, what do we mean by connecting to a soulmate? And that's something that I've covered in detail in my episode Divine Feminine and Dating. True Divine Feminine, if you are truly already anchored in your divinity, you've been through this journey of deep healing, you found your way back to yourself, and you've anchored in your femininity. We live in celibacy. We respect our bodies, we respect our energy, we respect the time that we share with other people and how we share that time, right? So a true divine feminine would never connect to anyone if this man is not ready to commit to be your life partner. So when you ask me questions about connecting to a soulmate, I see it on a two levels. So level number one is simply connecting to men that are put in front of me on my path, because I understand that everything happens for a reason. So if God is putting someone that I, as a divine feminine, already feel that there's a connection with this man, that maybe we've met in past lifetimes, that maybe I feel it is a level of a soulmate, I will explore that because I trust God, right? So I will allow this man to wine and dine me. We will have that relationship that will be on a level of romantical friendship. So we will spend time together, hold hands and start to develop that romantical kind of friendship that obviously it comes without saying, if you truly are divine feminine, it would be exclusive. We would never do such a thing with more than one man. I sometimes feel like it's basic, but then I listen to conversations, I feel it's worth mentioning. But a true divine feminine would never, in a romantic sense, even on a bare minimum level, share her energy with more than one man in the same time. It's just something that we wouldn't do. If I would have to explain this to you, then it means that you're not there yet. So in that sense, obviously there's no harm in doing so, right? You are single, being in separation, you're not connected to your divine masculine on a physical plane. You have no way of knowing where he is and where he's at and what he's doing. So you have the right to live your life the way you want to live your life. So is there a man that you feel attracted to? And again, you want to allow him to wine and dine you. Of course, it must be part of your path, because again, everything happens for a reason. If he was put in front of you on your path, it's either a lesson or a test or a very important connection, or it may be important for him as well. Now, the second aspect of connecting to a soulmate is actually building a life with that soulmate, right? So actually deciding that man wants to commit to me, and now I have to take a decision, because a very important step of a commitment, of a divine union, even between soulmates, is intimacy. Intimacy in the spiritual world is a seal the deal kind of a thing, right? So the divine union doesn't require a priest to tell you that you're married with someone. It requires commitment, it requires intention, pure intention, truth intention, and it requires fusion, which is physical intimacy. So when you decide to be intimate with that other man who is a soulmate, I would assume that as a divine feminine, you understand that this means that you're going to start a committed relationship with that man, and that is a choice, and it's a very important choice. We shouldn't be approaching this choice in a nonchalant sort of a way. Oh, I'm lonely, meanwhile I'm waiting, I'm just going to be with this man. Because being in a committed relationship with someone is a literal, that's why we call it fusion. It's a literal blend with another person. You're blending your energies, you're blending your bodies, you're blending your energy bodies. You're going to exist as a whole new entity. We've talked about this, and it was when I was explaining to you guys the reason behind sort of a keeping it low profile as you fuse with your counterpart post separation. Because as two people come into union, you create energetically new entity. It was used to you and that person. Now it's you and that person in sovereignty, but you also form a separate entity that is your union, right? And your relationship. So this is why we always talk about past relationships, karmic relationships, cutting cords, giving yourself time to really process, to really release, because people underestimate the depth and the intensity of the blend between two people that are in a relationship. It may have permanent influence on your life, and if not permanent, once you break up with someone, and we talk about this when we talk about karmic relationships, it's years sometimes to fully dissolve the cords, to fully cleanse your energy from the energy of another person. That's why I always highlight to you guys to be very careful with random intimacy with another person. So as a true divine feminine, you should know this. So when you want to take a decision, I want to be with a soulmate. Being in separation, my divine masculine is nowhere to be found. Here is this man. He wants to be with me. He wants to commit to me. I am considering now, what do I do? If you decide, it's a serious decision. And my advice to you, and obviously, and I say this all the time, and I've mentioned this in yesterday's reading, we have free will. How you will approach this journey, it's a very individual thing. You have a choice. You cannot unsubscribe from this journey, no matter how painful it is, but you can choose not to follow the journey, right? It takes two sovereign souls, the masculine and the feminine, to decide every day, I want to follow this journey to one day be in union with my counterpart, to actually one day get into union, right? So what you do in between, what you do in separation, as you wait, we know it's not waiting, it's living your life, has a huge impact on what will happen next, because it's another soul we're talking about. It's blending your existence with another existence that we're talking about. So by doing so, especially if you jumping on that second level, so not just connecting and exploring, and there must be a reason this man is here, but deciding to blend your life, to start a family, to have intimacy, to start a committed relationship, will have influence on your future. And it's not just waiting in the meantime and the date is written in the star, because your decisions can shift that date, can repeat the cycles. So I cannot give you an advice. It's a very individual thing. We are tested with things that are our own weaknesses on this journey. But what I can say to you, if you're standing in front of that choice, just ask yourself in a very vulnerable, in a very honest way, why? Why do I want to connect to this other man? Why would I want to connect to this other man? And if the answer is because I need love, because I deserve love, because I've been waiting too long, because my masculine is nowhere to be found, because he can love me well, if it's coming from a place of wanting something that is not given to you by your masculine, rest assured it's not alignment. It is another test. It is another lesson. So you really have to honestly ask yourself, why do I want to connect with this man? Because a soulmate on this journey can be sent to you for two reasons. One reason, like I said, it's going to be another lesson. It's going to be a soul contract. It's going to be a karmic experience, something that both of you, in a beautiful way perhaps, can learn from each other. And another reason is for the feminines that literally reached exhaustion and they no longer want to continue on this journey. But because of all the work that you've done, if you crave love, if love is the desire of your soul, that love can be granted to you. And if you feel that is not doable in this lifetime with your divine counterpart, because it is a hard work and a journey full of pain but full of love as well, you can decide to quit that journey and then settling with a soulmate. And another thing that I want to mention to you, just to remember, and I don't care what anyone says, and you have to accept that, your twin flame, if it's your true twin flame, true divine counterpart, and you've been put on this journey, you are one consciousness. You are two sovereign souls. It's a deeper separation than for most souls. I've explained this many times in many videos, but you're two sovereign souls, but you're one consciousness, one chakra system. So you walk as one, you live as one, you experience this life as one consciousness. So remember when you take that decision, that it's not that you've been trying and you've been doing so much work and your masculine is somewhere, behind, because you're one consciousness. He may appear and present differently because he embodies masculine energy, and it's something that I've covered in many videos as well, but you're one consciousness. Right? So if you're thinking that you're doing the work and he's behind, that's why you're going to settle with a soulmate, that's not really the case. So you're one consciousness, and because you're one consciousness, you will always walk as one, even when you connect to that soulmate. Even if you decide to have a relationship with that soulmate, you will continue to walk as one. So ultimately, the choice is yours. But as you choose to follow that second path with that soulmate, which is not just simply connecting, but actually building life, building committed relationship, starting to have intimacy, maybe creating a family, you have to accept that through that, you may be sealing your highest, most abundant timeline for you. And I say this to you guys many times, true divine feminine, we are so grounded and anchored in our wholeness, in our own yin and yang and inner union, that we don't really need anything. So if you still feel like, I want this man because I need love, I deserve love, I don't want to be alone, it's great to have a desire of the soul not to be alone. We're not meant to here to be alone. But there's a deep question within to ask yourself, is it coming from a necessity and still a place of lack? Or I just decided that this man is someone special. I feel something special for him. I feel something very deep for him. It's not because I'm tired of waiting. It's not because I desire love and I need something as I wait. I truly do choose this man for the rest of my lifetime, in which case, by all means, go ahead. I hope this was helpful, more helpful than confusing. If you are in a specific situation and you feel like you want to talk about it, feel free to reach out and we can have a very individual chat. It is a very individual journey, so we always have to approach this individually and not follow blindly specific advice, and ultimately the answer resides within you. I love you so incredibly much, and I will see you soon, my divine feminines.